That was as bad as it gets. Eddie Howe admits Newcastle weren't right, not enough threat, not enough solidarity, and maybe more worryingly, a mental problem to finish a difficult season. This is the final word. I'm Ken, the Inside the Toon guy. That was as bad as it gets. Fulham 2, Newcastle 0. And honestly, it felt worse than the scoreline. No fight, no rhythm, no answers. The Gordon situation needs explaining, the system looks messy, and too many players look miles off it. Was this the worst performance of the season? Let's get into it now. Possibly the worst performance of the season, made even worse by the sad Mackham Bastards result. Honestly, it felt like we've been relegated last night because of that. Fans deserve the truth on Anthony Gordon. Not one single minute in the last 4 matches needs explaining. Too many players yesterday looked like they couldn't care less. That should never happen when you're wearing the badge. Far too many systems were used during the game. It looked confused, disjointed and desperate. Ilanga's cameo summed it up. I think his first 5 passes went straight to a Fulham player. A really poor day on and off the pitch. Eddie Howe was pretty honest after the Fulham defeat. The main line was that Newcastle simply were not good enough, and he admitted Fulham deserved the win. He said it was a disappointing performance and not the way we wanted to end the season. He felt Newcastle looked disjointed, partly because of the limited selection choices, but he didn't hide behind that fact. Not enough attacking threat, Howe said. We weren't a big enough goal threat in the game. That's probably the headline for me. We were not solid enough defensively, he admitted, and we were not quite right. Is this a mental issue and not just a tactical one? Howe said that they tried to change several things during the match, but felt it was more of a mental problem than anything else. And that's the big talking point for me. It's been a difficult season overall. He described it as a really difficult season, saying Newcastle had to deal with challenges on a number of fronts, especially balancing Europe and the Premier League. His conclusion was blunt. We haven't dealt with that really well enough in our Premier League season. He admitted that we weren't right, not enough threat, not enough solidarity, and maybe worrying a mental problem to finish a difficult season. NUFC.com, along with other websites, summed up the day as well. Toon fans aren't shocked, they're tired. Fulham felt like the final page of a season full of frustration, not enough goals, not enough consistency, and not enough belief away from home. The anger is there, but the bigger feeling is disappointment. Now the pressure shifts from the pitch to the boardroom. This summer has to deliver. The Toon reaction has been flat, frustrated, and pretty resigned. Not really fury and isolation, more that this summed up the season. In the main mood I'm seeing from the fans, it was a miserable end to a miserable league campaign. Fans have described it as a disappointing end, underwhelming, and a low-key finish to a season that never really got going. The Mag fans' reaction called it a game with nothing at stake and said the away day had a low feeling about it. We offered nowhere near enough going forward. That is probably the biggest football complaint. Howe himself admitted Fulham deserved the win and said Newcastle were not at the level required. The XG reaction backed that up as well. The Mag quoted under stat figures of Fulham 1.73 XG, Newcastle 0.24 XG, which paints the picture of a team barely creating clear chances. The summer has to be huge. A lot of fans have already moved past the match and onto the rebuild. One reaction summed it up as the season's over, now about making sure the summer is far better than last year's. This hurts more because Sunderland got Europe. There's definitely extra sting because Sunderland secured European football while Newcastle finished the season with a limp defeat. The Mag's reaction explicitly called that out as making the underwhelming finish worse. Still loyal but patient has been tested. It does not feel like a total fan meltdown, but it does feel like the trust needs rebuilding. The tone is support the club, thank the away fans, reset. But no pretending this Premier League season was unacceptable. I would like to congratulate Adam Pearson. Phenomenal this season, what he's done. He's travelled to Scotland, Singapore, South Korea, Belgium, France, Germany, Baku, and Spain. He's attended 58 out of 58 games, travelling over 30,000 miles, including the longest English Champions League trip ever. He said it's not been the season we've wanted, but he stayed healthy and we looked after each other. You will want to be around when the club sorts everything out, he ended on a positive note. A collage of thumbnails from the YouTubers, their reactions straight after the match, and the journalists, the Geordie journos, really, really unhappy. Along with the rest of us, by the way. Paul in the Toon review team, pure dross, and it was. Pete, again, he's just glad the season's over. A bit like me, really. Adam P. Obviously, Sunderland went up. That really upset him. And then the performance was dismal. And then time to advance our project. So that's what the Magpie channel are looking at on a positive note. And then Fans TV, disaster again. A quick couple of numbers from the away season. 19 games played, 17 goals, 17 points. Absolutely nothing to write home about. And this form has cost us from where we expected to be, which was in the top 6 or 7 at the end of the season. On a positive, happy note, Wallsend Boys Club, Sean Neve, 19 years old, made his English Premier League debut. Congratulations to him, and let's hope he has a long, successful career with Newcastle United. A season of highs and lows, and probably too many lows. It's been frustrating, disappointing, and at times really hard to watch. The summer 2025 window felt shocking, especially after selling a want-away Isak at the last minute, and it left us playing catch-up far too late. The squad looked overwhelmed by the workload, with 58 games taking its toll physically and mentally. Injuries absolutely battered us too, with 278 games lost by May the 1st, which shows just how stretched we were. That said, there were still moments to hold on to. The Champions League nights were fantastic, the kind of occasion that reminds you what the club can be when St James's Park is bouncing. The League Cup run to the semi-final had us dreaming of another Wembley final, and the FA Cup run only ended because we came up against Man City too many times. But overall, expectations were probably set too high for a squad that clearly lacked the depth to cope. In the biggest moments, too many players went missing, especially in games that really mattered, like the Mackems. Away from the Premier League, it's been a real struggle. At home, we've lost to mid-table sides and lower table sides, because St James's Park is no longer feels like a fortress it once was. I'm not angry for the sake of it. I'm just disappointed because the season promised so much. Gave us a few brilliant highs, but ultimately exposed too many problems, and honestly, I could go on. Thank you for watching. There's a lot more to come from this channel. I'm Ken, the Inside the Toon guy. World Cup coming up, lots of Newcastle content, lots of reflection, the reporting of relevant information as we go across the summer, and let's hope it's going to be a big one for the Toon Army and Newcastle United.